Warm welcome to our Q1 earnings call. Joining with us today are Uday Reddy, Founder, Chairman and CEO, Deepak Goyal, Executive Director and Chief Business Officer, and Arvind Vishwanathan, CFO. Uday will share his perspectives on business imperatives and strategic progress made by us. After opening remarks, we'll be happy to engage with the participants and address their questions. Before I hand it over to Uday, let me draw your attention to the fact that today's discussion may feature statements that are forward-looking in nature. All statements other than statements of historical fact could be deemed forward-looking in nature. Such statements are inherently subject to risk and uncertainties, some of which cannot be predicted or quantified. A detailed disclosure in this regard is mentioned in the results presentation that is uploaded on our website. Audio recording and transcript will be available on the website soon. Now I hand it over to Uday.
Thanks, Ritu. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this call. I would like to make 6 points before we get into the Q&A. First point is we have given a very detailed investor presentation and shareholder report, which proactively addresses a lot of potential investor questions. It is our intent to be the best in class on governance, and we are constantly improving our disclosures to provide more insights on our business to investors. From Q1 onwards, we have started reporting EBIT for both digital platforms and enterprise communications business to help investors track these businesses separately. The second point is our financial performance. We have delivered exceptional results in a seasonally weak quarter. I have always talked about the importance of the financial discipline. We run our business at 20% EBITDA with a 76% conversion of gross margin into EBITDA while generating a strong cash flows of almost around 90 crores. The third point is on investment. We have invested close to 15 crores on our new platforms in the current quarter. And we have made a big bet on the enterprise business with 375 crores acquisition of ValueFirst from Twilio. Fourth point is on our innovation. Wisely ATP, our patented anti-phishing platform, is our landmark innovation. We completed proof of concept 3 leading banks on Wisely ATP, and the Q2 will be the quarter focused on accelerating our GTM and our commercial closures. The fifth point is on our enterprise communication business. We are now in the phase of price expansion in this business, and we have visibility of price increase in some parts of our the domestic business over the course of Q2. Finally, we completed the acquisition of ValueFirst India business in July, and we will complete the acquisition of international business by end of Q2. We are very excited by the synergies, and we are on the track to move this business to double-digit EBITDA in a couple of quarters. In summary, we are firing on all cylinders, and I'm sure it's quite evident from the presentation and the note, which is distributed to all of you. And now I'd like to hand it over to. I'm very happy to take questions from you now.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin with the question and answer session. Anyone wishing to ask a question may please press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Meet Raj from Equirus Capital Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity and congrats on a very good set of numbers. So first question is in terms of the new contract with world's largest e-commerce company. So just wanted to understand what is the nature of business that we have signed the contract for, And what is the revenue potential for FY24 from that contract?
Yeah. So, Meet, I'll ask Deepak to give you a context on the kind of business we will do on the customer that you mentioned.
Sure.
Yeah, hi, Deepak here. We have signed a contract to serve them for all their terminations into India, all their messaging termination into India. So it has NLD, which is domestic type of messages, and it has ILD messages as well. So it has both. So it's a mix of both, and we signed for both the messages. So it's a comprehensive contract what we signed with them. And as far as the size of contract is concerned, that is something which we will not be able to share at this point.
Okay. And second, in terms of second is in terms of the proof of concept that we have done with three of the largest banks. So, in the letter to shareholders, it is mentioned that in Q2 beginning, the commercials will be closed. So, just wanted to understand what is the revenue potential from those banks, basically.
Deepak. Yeah, so we have, signed a proof of, we have completed POC with the three banks. And as Uday mentioned, in this quarter, Q2, we should be able to sign all three banks, commercially. In terms of the numbers, I think we would be able to share, post Q2. Let us first, get the commercial sign.
Okay, so apart from these three banks, how is the pipeline looking for that product with respect to...
The pipeline is very solid. We initially ourselves only started with three banks because we just wanted to see whether things are working fine or no. And now we have already in Q1 we have met many other customers, and we have a great interest coming in from those customers as well. So, in Q2, the target is not just to sign these three customers, but to sign many more. And we are in advanced stages with them as well. And I forgot to add one thing about our, the e-commerce customers, the global e-commerce customers, that we are the only one with whom they will be having now direct connect. All this while they were working with international, providers. And those international providers in turn would connect with the domestic providers in India. And now this is the first time they got connected directly with the direct provider. So it speaks volumes, and we are very hopeful that we would be able to ramp up most of their volumes maybe in next 2 to 3 months time.
So. In that e-commerce company, what would be our peak market share once we go at full throttle? Both in NLD and ILD.
We always try to go beyond 60-70%. So this is what we would target for.
Okay. And last question is in terms of the pricing. So we have some visibility of price reset in Q2. So, just wanted to understand what would be the quantum percentage, if you can share some color, and how will it play out?
So, let me start on that, and then maybe I'll ask Deepak to add on it. So this is a little dynamic thing. So to quantify now, I think for all of your questions, that's going to be our answer. That most of the quantification of these will be clear by end of Q2, right? And therefore we will probably be able to address these from a financial standpoint at end of Q2. But I think there is a larger message in terms of how the market is playing out. So from a price perspective. So maybe I'll ask Deepak to give color on that, because that's quite exciting. And as we go through this process, we will discover in terms of the impact, and that we will communicate as part of our Q2 results.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Balaji Subramaniam from IIFL. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my question. Congrats on a great set of numbers and appreciate the extra disclosure. So I just have one question. It's more of, how the industry is headed in the medium to long term. If we look at the kind of deals that have happened in the last 1.5 months in the sector, I think probably, what we are seeing is CPaaS players either selling themselves to larger enterprise players or telcos, so that CPaaS becomes one of the many offerings which these companies offer alongside other offerings like cloud, security, etc. So keeping that in mind, how do you think Tanla is kind of going to compete with these players who will be probably, looking at bundling, and there could be some cross-subsidization, etc., as far as offerings are concerned. So that would be my only question. Thanks.
Before Uday answered this, Uday, I just want to say,
please.
A few things here. So hi, Balaji. So if you really see, Tanla acquired Karix a few years back. Now they acquired ValueFirst, Gamuga. And if you see, Tanla is already providing bundle of services, right? So it is not just, if you really look at it, Tanla launched Wisely ATP, which is absolutely a different product. It's not a CPaaS product. It's a security product. It's a anti-phishing product. Okay, which gives us a very huge credibility, a big handle with all our large BFSI customers and so many other customers. So it gives us a huge, I would say, edge over others, right? So this is, so we are already doing that. Over to you there.
Yeah, thanks, Deepak. So Balaji, anyway, Deepak has covered most of the points. The way we see is like, the enterprise are not just looking for bandwidth or voice or any of the telco services. What they're looking at, and there is a huge competition there. That's number one, right? Number two is, as Deepak mentioned, they are looking at products which are going to protect their users. That is our customers. That's number one. Number two is they also would like to work with someone like Tanla who's going to help them comply. Okay, we are the one who have helped all the enterprise in India to comply with the CCCPR 2018 June regulation. That's number one, right? And the PDP is around the corner. Okay, and we are very, very conscious about the act, right, and the bill. We are developing. We are investing a lot of the products and platforms and services to cater to the enterprises. So we don't have any competition. If you look at our bouquet of offerings, we don't have absolutely no competition in India, and probably looks like we will not have any competition outside India also. What the telcos are buying the assets, I think they have a plain vanilla connects, and we are not there to compete with them.
Thanks a lot. That is quite helpful. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Balaji.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Deepak Sukhani from Reds Capital. Please go ahead.
Congrats, Uday and Tanla team, on great set of numbers and excellent presentation, disclosures, and the Q&A materials. I have three quick questions. First is, I can see capex of almost 100 crores in the last 6 months. Can you kindly elaborate what are these for?
Sure. Let me take that, Deepak. I think 2-3 big things, right? One is obviously we have accelerated our platform investments, right? With Wisely ATP and, some of the other platforms that we've been building. So that is one big ticket for the CapEx. The second is in terms of the innovation center that we had done, right? So between these are the two big tickets that has kind of increased. I think you will see normalization because the innovation center CapEx is largely done, right? But the platform investments will continue to happen because that's the bread and butter of our business. So we will continue to see some amount of CapEx as far as that is concerned.
So does this include any new platforms which you're working on, or just the existing ones which are under offering?
Which is under development, a lot of them, right? So we've talked about, Wisely ATP as an example. So some of them will get commercial, but in some sense, and Uday keeps talking about it, we are on a perpetual motion of innovation, right? So we can't rest on existing. So we keep building and coming out with new platforms. So, I think this is something that will continue for the quarters to come.
Got it. Thanks. My second question is the world's largest e-com contract. Usually these are bidded to low-cost bids. I may be wrong. So my question is, did we get this contract basis better pricing or better tech offering?
Deepak, better tech offering, Deepak. As I mentioned earlier, this tech giant was looking for direct, providers in India. And obviously we were their first choice, and we were in, and this is how they selected us after thorough, discussions over the period of a year.
Right. That's amazing. Thank you. My last question is Wisely ATP. Will it primarily be only for BFSI sector, or do you think any other sector could potentially use them?
Deepak, any brand whose name is getting misused would be our potential customer. Let's say, for example, you get, you might be getting messages from Adani Electricity or Tata Power and all of that your electricity is connection will get disconnected, right? Right. So, this is all scam messages. So even those are affected by all these phishing messages. Then there are job frauds. Jobs have been offered, using Amazon's name or Flipkart's name or maybe State Bank of India's name. So it's a very, if you really ask, the TAM is really big. But, our initial focus was BFSI. That's why I mentioned BFSI, but it will move to a lot of other verticals as well.
Understood. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thanks.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next question. That is on the line of Amit Mishra, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Yes. Good day, everyone. Thank you for giving me opportunity to ask questions. Firstly, congratulations should be given to the whole team. Very, very good performance in Q1. And also, the client additions, which are very, very good. So 80 odd clients we have added. And less said is better. It's about the disclosures. It's unparalleled in the industry. I've not seen such disclosures from any company. So thanks a lot. We are setting example in CG for rest of the market, I would say. So I have two questions. First one is on the partnership with Core.ai. So we did a partnership with them in June 2022, and according to what we discussed earlier, they deal with pretty large accounts. So I wanted to know, they have longer lead time, I think Deepak mentioned earlier, 6 to 8 months. So I want to understand where we are in that partnership. Have we done any, onboarded any client, or we are doing POCs with them, or if there is no progress? So can you please give some color on that? Deepak and Uday both.
Deepak? Yeah, sure. So hi, Amit. So as far as our core relationship is concerned, yes, as I mentioned earlier, the lead time is pretty large. And, we have, in fact, won a couple of customers already, but, it takes time to, in fact, even onboard them. So currently they are on the onboarding stage. But as any new relationship, because they are based out of US, they were handling American customers, and then now in India, so any new relationship takes its own time and goes through its own ups and downs. So we are into that phase. We are, we have a solid pipeline for that. We have met many customers, and right now we are just going through the phase of understanding better about their requirements and how Core can serve them. So it is taking some time, but it is on track.
Right. So which geography we have this one customer with Core.ai?
India itself. We actually closed one of the good banks in India.
Okay. So other geographies, nothing so far, but we are still making contacts or setting GT.
We have one very one customer very very advanced stage in Indonesia as well.
Indonesia. Wow, great.
Yes.
Thank you. So for the second question, actually it relates to enterprise business. This is, I've been noticing, we have these, Q1 and Q2, and I've noticed in past we have solid jump, so this is how I think industry is organized. From Q1 to Q2 there is solid jump. So we used to have in 19 we had 24%, 20 we had 28%, 21 we had 34% from Q1 to Q2. Of course, last year was a little bit disturbed because of we lost a big customer. But is it fair to say that this is sort of a thumb rule of Q1 to Q2 we can assume 20% plus sort of jump? Because I understand that it's a festival season in India, the campaigns, the preparation and everything starts in Q2. So is it fair to assume on an average?
I mean, firstly, Q2 is not a festival quarter,
Yeah, I know. But the revenue profile, when you start preparing for that, probably, I don't know. But the revenue jump is the biggest in Q2. So I just wanted to get some sort of, is there, it's kind of a business, how business is set up in CPaaS industry, or it's specific to Tanla, and what could be the fair percentage to assume,
It will be tough to give any specific number right now, Amit. Okay, but just want to tell you that in Q1 we have some uptick because of IPL also, which was not there in Q2, right? We had.
Can you put a number on IPL jump? Is it possible?
That numbers I'll leave it on Arvind, but I'm just giving you a little high level this thing, right? Yeah.
Arvind,
and yeah, Arvind, please.
No, so I'll tell you just before that, right? To give you a little bit of a context, Q2 has historically been high because, in couple of years that you mentioned, we had an ILD price increase in July, right? And that has really skewed the market in many ways because those price increases are high. We had certain amount of ILD price increase benefit in Q1 this year. So that's something that one needs to normalize when you look at historic data, right? So that's one point. It is difficult. See, IPL is more a season in terms of where multiple customers do incremental spend, right? So you don't really call out. We just know that there were more volumes in some form, right? That we've seen in due to IPL. The domestic business historically picks up in Q2 vis-a-vis Q1, right? But I think, there are multiple factors now with other pieces of business becoming large, right? That it's not only one dimension. So it is difficult to kind of quantify, and I don't want to kind of be cornered into a guidance for Q2. But when you're looking at historic data, it's important to note that there are multiple other factors beyond that also needs to be accounted for.
No, guidance was not the intention to get, but I noticed 3 years in a row, 19, 20, 21, we had 24, 28, 34% uptick from Q1 to Q2. But that's okay, that we can leave it at that. Just if I can squeeze one more question. For the combined entity for Tanla and Value First, eventually where would be our total employee strength? What is the comfortable level you see where we will end up?
Amit, too early to comment. Yeah. So, sorry, Arvind, go ahead.
No. I thought let me give the facts, right, and then we can give you, right. So if you look at overall, as we announced, value at around slightly more than 450 employees, and Tanla has been at around, its consolidated Tanla is around, slightly over 600, right. So so the combined entity would have a headcount between 1,000 and 1,100. Right. So that's where we start as a base, right? Uday, I'll leave it to you in terms of thought process on this.
I want to say the same thing. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone wishing to ask a question, may please press star and 1. The next question is on the line of Ram Tava from XLR Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I have a couple of questions. The first question is related to the Tanla ATP. Tanla ATP, what would be the total addressable market for this ATP in the future to come? I mean, not immediately in the next 2 quarters. Probably if you can say a couple of years in terms of revenue, what will be the total addressable market under the Protect, right? Under the Protect segment of Tanla ATP. That's the first question.
Ram, sorry.
I
could not hear your...
Wisely. No,
okay.
Arvind,
can you hear me now?
Wisely.
Yeah, Wisely ATP. Yeah, what would be the total addressable market for the next couple of years or not more, the total addressable market under Protect, Tanla, the ATP, Wisely ATP, in India?
Yeah, Ram, it's as Deepak mentioned, we are about to close commercials with very large banks in this quarter, and we are pitching to other brands as we speak. So I think we will come to know over a period of time, over the course of a couple of quarters. So what's a TAM, and so on and so forth. It's too early to comment.
Yeah, because, I saw one of the slides in your presentation. Under Protect, you mentioned that 0.3 billion will be by 2023 or 2027. There's a total addressable market under the Protect category, Tanla, ATP, and Network. So I just want to understand on what basis, whether that entire 0.3 billion will be the total addressable market for us.
Yeah. So Uday, maybe let me...
Go ahead, Arvind.
Yeah, sure. So, I think what we have done there, right, Ram, is, it's wrong to look at it as just an ATP market. We've talked about how our platform addresses all the buying centers, right, across Engage, Communicate, Protect, and Experience, right? So, that... And we have compartmentalized our existing platforms under these 4 buckets. Now, what we have assessed the market, we are talking about Protect, is the overall Protect market. Some of it gets addressed by our existing platforms, but we will keep innovating and building in new platforms there, right? So the good way to look at it is that Wisely ATP would be a subset of the number that we have mentioned there in terms of $300 million or so in India, and which will kind of expand. But it is not to say that it's only ATP. It covers the entire spectrum of customer spends there. So you could say that when you look at Wisely as a platform, and if you look at Protect as an area from a buying center standpoint, that has this kind of potential, and ATP is one of the products. So that's not a reflection of TAM of ATP per se, but it's a larger discussion in terms of how to look at our business.
Okay, got it. And I have another question because maybe this question may look a bit naive to, because I'm very naive to this subject. So I want to understand who would be the potential customers for Tanla ATP? Is it the telcos or even the enterprises? Why I'm asking this question is, normally the fraudsters, when they send a phishing SMS, they choose one of the enterprises as a target, and they send a SMS to the users, and they try to swindle the money through various ways and means, right? So is it the telcos who will filter using this Tanla ATP? And if it happens to be the enterprises, how are they going to do it? See, for example, let me take an example of HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank, by themselves, they don't send any phishing messages, right? But how HDFC will be a potential customers for us, for the HDFC customers for this anti-phishing? I hope I put the question properly.
Yeah, Ram, so it's a good question. So the way it works is the ATP platform has to be deployed with the telcos. Okay, so we need to have a deployment with the telcos to start with. That's the number one point, right? Number two is, but the bank is the one who has to protect their users. Okay, so in this example, bank has to pay the money to us, and then we keep our revenue share and pay the remaining amount to the telcos. So the bank is the sender, and ourselves and the telcos are the earners. That's how it works. So unless until the telco decided to charge the mobile user directly. Okay. In India, what we decided is to charge directly to the enterprises, not to the users, because of the low ARPU in India. If the ARPU is very high in certain markets like mainly Saudi and so on and so forth, probably we can look at charging the users. But in which case we don't really approach all the enterprises. Whichever the user wants to safeguard himself from the scammers, they can always subscribe to our subscription. That's what we're looking at as we speak. So
you mean to say that the HDFC Bank will pay for these services, which are the SMS that have been sent to HDFC customers, right?
Yes. So we're going to charge per user per month.
Okay. So I also saw in one of the slides that the TRAI urged, not the slides, I saw the news that TRAI urged the other telcos to come up with a kind of solution similar to our ATP. So any update pertaining to other telcos, any progress on that?
Yeah, we are in touch with all telcos, and as we speak, we are running the POC with one of the largest telcos in India. We already deployed with the VAL and Elliot, but we're doing the POC with one of the largest telcos in India. And of course, we are talking to all telcos.
Okay. And I have one suggestion. I wrote a few questions to the investor relations, but I hardly receiving any response. So probably if you can just look into it from the investor relations to get a proper response for the questions what we asked.
Sure, Ram. Thank you for that feedback. Let me look at it and personally respond on that.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Mohit Motwani from Nuvama. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thanks for the opportunity and congratulations on a great set of numbers. I got disconnected in between, so don't know if that had already been answered. First question on the IRD price hike you have already mentioned. Can you give some color, maybe not quantify, but some color on the growth in this quarter? How much of it was driven by, the volume growth, and how much of it was price driven? Not numbers, but maybe some sense on that.
So roughly, I would say that 50% of our growth, right, has come through price increase, but there has been a lot of organic growth across all dimensions of the business, also beyond the price increase. So
you mentioned 50%, right? If I heard correctly.
Slightly more than 50%. Yeah.
Sure, that's helpful. And one more question. So there were some articles which suggested that WhatsApp has increased the pricing of the messages. So has it impacted any volumes at your end? Have you seen any pressure on volumes from the customers?
Yes. I would say so. Volumes, we have seen some pressure on the volumes, but since the price has gone up, so overall, revenue remained, intact. But what we are seeing is that when the price go up like that, like this, customer takes some time, because there, in WhatsApp, a huge amount of messaging happening on promotional side, and customers who are rethinking about their marketing strategies. But we feel that, next, 2 or 3 months' time, those volumes would be back because WhatsApp was actually able to give them a great ROI.
Sure. That's all helpful. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Amit Chandra from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So you mentioned that around 50 to 60% of the growth in this quarter for the enterprise business is ILD price hike linked. So in terms of the volume, if you can share some light, how has been the volume growth, especially from the angle of transaction and promotional messages? Because if I am not wrong, promotional was under pressure, and we are seeing some pickup in the promotional messages. So how has that split been in terms of transactional and promotional messages? Because transactional messages has been growing, but promotional has started growing maybe this quarter.
Maybe Arvind, please.
Yeah.
Arvind, please go ahead.
No, so I was just saying that, we did see volume growth in the quarter in the domestic business, right? But I will ask Deepak to give color, is what I was saying. Deepak, over.
So, Amit, your question is around NLD business, right?
Yeah, NLD. Yes.
Yes. So, see, Amit, traditionally, the Q1 is generally weak on promotional side because customers are still working on the budgets. They had exhausted all the budgets by March, and new budgets are getting sanctioned and stuff like that. And things go a little slow. And you are rightly said that transactions are on the higher side, and the promotions are not so high. So that is there. But what has happened for us is one, as I mentioned earlier, because of IPL, because we have certain customers. There are certain, those fantasy gaming companies and a lot of other customers who do campaigns around IPL. So we got some, support from there. And we also we have been winning a lot of new customers the last 6 or 8 months' time. And we have seen, that some new businesses also getting added. So that's the support came from there as well.
Okay. Now, so also, have you seen any kind of a shift of volume from, say, the traditional SMS to the WhatsApp side, especially on the promotional messaging side? And also, we have seen consolidation in the industry that has been happening. So, and we have gained market share also. So, is that change our equation with telcos in terms of our sourcing costs with them? So, is that we have a higher market share and we can ask for better pricing in terms of sourcing cost?
Okay, I'll give you your second question on the first. Yeah, definitely when you have, you have a better leverage, your volumes are higher. Obviously, you get some, price advantage. There's no, it goes without saying it happens. And as far as the first question is concerned, that the volumes are shifting from SMS to WhatsApp. I would say WhatsApp has created, it added more to the, our overall, numbers. So let's say, for example, I just tell you, there is a BFSI sector. The BFSI, they just do not do any promotion on WhatsApp. Okay, they mostly use it for, for transactions and for user-generated messages and stuff like that. There are e-commerce companies and, there are certain segments which actually rely more on WhatsApp and they do it on WhatsApp. Then there are other segments which find WhatsApp very expensive. So what they do is they would still use WhatsApp, but so I just want to tell you, when enterprise is sending messages, price is very high on WhatsApp. But if user is initiating a conversation with WhatsApp, the price is very low. So what customers do, they would send a SMS campaign, right, which is much cheaper, which will have a WhatsApp link. So if if a user wants to, initiate a conversation, okay, it can just click on the link and a conversation gets initiated over WhatsApp. So the overall it becomes cheaper. So here you get volumes on SMS as well as on WhatsApp. So it's like that. It's a mix of all of that, right? But yes, definitely ROI on WhatsApp is definitely good. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. And sir, my second question would be on the Wisely ATP. So as you said that the ATP product is being deployed at the at the telco level. So is it particular telco will only have a single like product for integration, or there can be multiple product installed by a single telco?
No, they normally go by,
sorry.
So they go by they go with one supplier, not with too many.
Okay. And can they have their own because you're not it is not like a true block which is being built via which is being built by the aggregator, but it is the telco will build the bank or the entity for the ATP services. So is it that the telco can have their own platform and also in terms of revenue share, how that will be split? So is it in the final stages, or is it still under consideration in terms of the revenue share between telco and the aggregators?
If you are asking if the telcos can outsource in terms of development and develop it, yes, absolutely, yes. Why? They can. But we don't see any competition as in today. In future, I don't know. So that's number one. Number two, we are about to close the commercials with the telcos. So probably we should be able to come out with explanation in the Q2.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And all the best.
Yes.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Tejas Shah from Laser Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi. Normally, sir, we do acquisition, if you've seen the last acquisition, which was basically via stock. This time, I think you opted for cash. So, have we not thought about stock sharing Tanla shares and doing the acquisitions?
So, are you referring to value cost acquisition?
Yeah.
No, so that's a history, right? So we have paid full cash. So
but I think normally Tanla history is basically wherein you do acquisitions via stock, wherein we issue Tanla shares to the acquiring company, and there's a locking period for 12 months, 18 months, or whatever, and then the business goes on. So any particular reason why we are looking for cash? Why we look for cash this time?
A couple of things. Right? One is when we acquired Carex, it's partly cash, partly stock. Okay, it's not 100% stock, right? I think, if I remember correctly, 55-45 towards cash, right? And so is Gamuga. It's not completely stock, partly cash, partly stock. Shares, right? So when it comes to then those days we never had we never had so much of cash to acquire these companies. Okay. But our option is always to acquire with cash, but we don't want to dilute. That's our whole intent. But the situation now is different from where we left a couple of years ago.
Okay, thank you. Second question is in the Vodafone. Now the telco is normally in problems. We hear it outside. So how quicker we get the payments from Vodafone? So is it within 30 days, 60 days, or it is much more?
Sorry, your voice is not speaking.
Uday, I can answer this question. I heard that, right? So from our perspective, the important point to note is that we are a customer. Then Vodafone being our customer, right? So we have to pay them. for the services, right? So from that sense, I don't think we have a financial exposure because for, all of the things, the amount that, we spend where we are a much multifold larger customer of Vodafone than Vodafone is to us. So that's really not something which is very relevant from our perspective.
Okay, I understand. Thanks from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anil Nahata, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Uday, it's very good to see the progress that we have come over in 1 year from the challenging times. My first question is on the line of international business. With the Value First acquisition, now we are having 2 more geographies besides the UAE business. So what is the kind of directional sense that we are pushing for in the next 2 years for our international business?
Yeah, so as it is, we are operating out of Middle East for the last couple of years, and we are growing the revenues quite quickly. That's number one, right? But with the acquisition of Value First, we have access to 2 more large markets, which is Saudi and Indonesia. So we have our plans, and the 2 largest markets are very close to us in the sense we can offer our platforms, and we also can offer our enterprise communication APIs in this market. So definitely, yes, we have a larger plan for our international plan. That's what if you want me to, this is what you want to hear from me, right? So we have a very serious plan to expand ourselves into international market so quickly.
So if I can, though I know you're a bit averse to giving quantification, but if I can look at, let's say, for example, today less than 10% of our revenues will be from the international markets. Can we look at a situation where we are looking at 20-30% of the revenues coming from the international market over the next 2-3 years?
You yourself said, man, I'm quite averse to giving any forward-looking statement, so let's leave it like that.
Okay, fair enough. The second question that I had was in terms of the NLD price. You mentioned that there's a 3-year cycles by which the prices sort of change in the market. And in the shareholders letter, you also mentioned that. Can you just give some more color onto that? Is it that something that you are looking at in terms of telcos increasing the price of the NLD SMS, or is it just a better improvement in the marketplace?
Absolutely right. The telcos are the one who has the control on the price increase, and they have already sent out the price increase to all of us. And it is effective from 1st of August, and so we also have kind of sent out mails to our enterprises, our customers. But this impact is mainly on certain NLD volumes. It does not impact on PSU volumes. It is mainly non-PSU and non-government volumes. So, yes, it is effective from 1st of August.
So, if it is non-PSU, basically, it means that is basically the scrubbing charges that they are trying to increase. Is that it?
Sorry, scrubbing charges? Sorry, come again?
Are they trying to increase the scrubbing charges? Can you quantify what is the increase in the certain segment? What goes up from where to where?
So I cannot really qualify and quantify it, but having said that, all I'm saying is I'm here to confirm that the prices are all set to go up from 1st of August. That's the first point. But it is going to affect only non-PSU, non-government traffic. That's what telcos have sent the mail to all the aggregators and enterprises directly. And wherever we have the business with enterprises, we also sent out mails to enterprises.
Fair enough. So if I can just insist, what is the order of magnitude of this price increase? Is it like 10%, 20%, 30%? Just an order, ballpark idea?
It's too early to comment because, we don't know. We are not, the enterprises are the ones who are going to consummate the services. So we have to see how these enterprises are consummate and look at this price. They keep looking at ROI because these SMS are being used not necessarily for OTP and transactions, but also for promotional likes. So we have to see how the market is going to react to this price increase.
Okay, maybe then in the next couple of quarters you will be able to give us a better idea. Is that correct?
In Q2, we should able to that in Q2 itself we should able to give you a clear clarity. Yeah.
Yes, so that will be very nice. And Uday, if I can just ask a last question on the Wisely ATP. I mean, I'm very pleased to see this kind of innovation coming from Tanla, and you have been spearheading some of these things. If I look at Wisely, and this is probably a follow-up question to Ram as well. So basically, each of the telcos will be deploying with some partner, or maybe they will develop it themselves. So Tanla already has signed up with VI, if I understand right. You are in discussion with one of the larger telcos. But in a hypothetical situation, let us say one or the other telcos go with somebody else. Then how does this marketing work? I mean, SDFC Bank is the customer. SDFC Bank is going to be charged. So Tanla and VI will be approaching SDFC Bank as one. Maybe suppose if Jio goes with somebody else, Jio will also be approaching SDFC Bank. How this thing is actually going to work, it's a bit confusing. So if you can just help understand that better, it will be very nice.
Yeah. Again, I must say that it's a good question. And I'll tell you, let me step back. Let me explain how it works like. So this SMS you get the SMS on both on A2P, application to peer SMS, which is a commercial communication on your phone, as well as a peer-to-peer SMS, which is a person-to-person communication, right? So yes. This platform is going to be deployed for both P2P and A2P messages, right? So that's number one, right? And this platform is deployed with the telcos, as I told you earlier, like. The third point is like when I go to HDFC, okay, assuming that I have a deployment with the two telcos, okay, all I have to tell them is what is my coverage in terms of A2P and what is the coverage in terms of P2P, okay. For example, and what is and then I have to protect HDFC users, like, okay. So it is a telco and the enterprise coverage, and whether it is A2P and P2P. There's also a combination of bit of both, the telcos, enterprises, and A2P and P2P. It's not complicated structure, but it sounds a little complicated. But we cracked this formula, like. So effectively, like, we are here to protect the bank's users. Okay, right? If I go and commit to the bank saying that I'm going to protect all your so-and-so telco users, okay, and then I say that I'm going to cover 60% or 70% of my A2P traffic. So that's how they're going to pay as the commercial side. It all depends on coverage.
Understood. So that's a good point. So basically, you are projecting your coverage of the A2P message and of the P2P message and doing a deal with the telco on that basis.
Yes, the coverage of users and the volume in terms of both A2P and P2P.
Understood. And Uday, one question finally. I mean, though the presentation was very nice, but this time I did not find any mention of the Truecaller messaging. I mean, I saw a huge amount of volumes in the IPL season on Truecaller, and my phone was virtually having business chats from Truecaller on a daily basis. So can you give some clarity on what happened on Truecaller? I mean, I was hoping it might have exceeded 1 billion messages a month or something like that.
I think we have covered in the presentation, but probably we might not have called out a Truecaller as a channel, like. But I think it comes under Arvind. Does it come under Wisely OTT?
It comes under Wisely OTT. So what we've done is we've kind of consolidated across, right? So so you're right. So we've called out volumes at an overall level, and then we've not broken down at what is the component of the individual one. But you're right. We see a good uptick in Wisely OTT in Q1 vis-a-vis Q4, and that is what kind of, if you've seen our overall platform gross margin, which accelerated to 30% plus in the current quarter, a lot of it is driven by what we've done on the Wisely OTT channel.
Okay, thank you very much, Arvind, and Uday and Deepak. All the best to you. This is extremely good progress from last year's Q1. I hope we can accelerate this progress further. Thank you.
Thanks, Anit.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question. I now hand the conference over to the management for their closing comments.
Thank you, everyone. That was the last question for today. In case we could not take your questions, please, due to time constraint, please feel free to reach out. Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, members of the